The queen conch is the most beautiful mollusk in the ocean. We call her the queen of the sea. And she is quite large, and she has a beautiful pink lip. She's also known as a gastropod, which is like a snail, and so it has a whorl that makes the shell. I'm Megan Davis. I'm a research professor at Florida Atlantic University, Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute. I fell in love with the conch when I was a teenager, sailing in the Bahamas, and I met some fishermen and they had the conch there. I instantly fell in love with this animal. I said, it's so beautiful, it tastes nice, and it's easy to collect, easy to harvest. And I said, one day this conch is going to need to be saved, it's going to need to be restored. And this was back in the 70s. And so here we are, almost 40, 50 years later. I decided to go to university to study aquaculture so that I could learn how to grow the conch. And so it was really important to understand, what kind of tanks it needed, what kind of water it needed. I was very fortunate to get a position in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And then we decided to start a commercial conch farm, and I became a co-founder. There was where I developed the commercial techniques to grow conch in a very large scale. Over time, what's happened is that the conch has been overfished and the population can't keep up with the fishing. And so really in the 70s and 80s, there was quite a number of us throughout the Caribbean that were pioneering and learning how to grow conch and learning from each other. In 1996, I came to Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute. And it wasn't until 2019 that we actually began the Queen Conch Lab program. The vision is to have a conch farm in every Caribbean country. And it's not just a conch farm, it's a community-based conch farm. And then our mission is to grow the conch for the sake of the species and for the people that depend upon the fishery. We were very fortunate to be selected as a project that's funded by Builders Initiative, and this project is in Grand Bahama. So conch is such an important cultural icon in the Bahamas. There's whole islands and communities that are built around the conch. It's also really important not only for the communities as a very high protein source, but it's also a very popular dish for tourism. And so there's a real need to work with the fishers and to do some restoration, do some diversification with aquaculture and also fisheries. And so really to blend aquaculture and fisheries together and work as a community on the queen conch to be able to make sure that it's there for generations to come. So what we're going to do is have a small, what we call a mobile hatchery, and this will be located in partnership with Coral Vita. And so this is a 3-year project, and we'll be moving the mobile labs there in the next couple of months. Welcome to the Mobile Queen Conch Lab Hatchery. This is a hatchery that's going to Grand Bahama. So it's in a trailer that's 20 feet long by 8 feet wide. There's 4 different stages in this mobile lab. And the first stage is the egg incubation. The egg incubation is where the eggs, when they first come in from the field, that they incubate in an upwelling system for about 4 days. And then on that 4th day, they get put into the larval tanks. These are conical bottom larval tanks, and they're about 20 gallons in size. This is where the eggs hatch and where we raise the larvae all the way through their larval cycle. The 3rd stage is the microalgae stage. We have to grow the microalgae and then we feed that to the larvae. The larvae stay in the larval tanks for about 21 days. And then at that stage, they're ready for metamorphosis, which is the 4th stage that you'll see in this mobile lab. They're ready to discard their lobes from swimming and start crawling on the bottom. In the wild, they settle down and they go in the sand. In our tanks, they go on these screen trays, which have food for them. And then they stay in that system for about 2 to 4 months. So this one is almost a year old, and it's about the size that we'd like to grow them to. for releasing into the field for restoration purposes. So right now, the mobile labs have a capacity to grow around 2,000 conch a year, and that would be 2,000 conch to the size of release. After working with this species for over 40 years, it's my personal goal to be able to train others to grow conch. So in the Bahamas, our mobile lab hatchery will be used for restoration. It will also be used for a training opportunity to build capacity and teach students and those that want to learn more about the species how to grow conch. So we'll be working with grade school students and also high school students, and then off into college, like with the University of Bahamas. We'll have internships, and we'll be making sure that we also teach the community, and the fishermen will be involved. The fishermen know more about the conch in the ocean than we possibly do. They know where they live, they know when their breeding is, they know which habitats are for which areas, and so we rely on the fishermen a lot to work with us. And then they learn from us a little bit more about the life cycle. And so it's really such a holistic project. Like, everybody gets a piece of it. I think the most important message to tell people about is to respect the conch. It's not just a conch shell. That conch shell had an animal in it, and that animal made the shell. And so it's really important to have that understanding of that relationship of the animal itself that makes the shell, and the shell is its home. So teaching that life cycle to the community and to people that are interested in learning is really important for the future of the species.